Are you hungry, hungry, hungry for some Bee Bim Bop? We're cooking Bee Bim Bop today. I'm Jody Rodriguez from Growing Book by Book, and I am so glad that you are joining me again today. We are cooking book by book in this series, and the book that we are using today is Bee Bim Bop. It's been out since about 2005, I think. I didn't discover it until my kids were born. But it was a favorite. It's just full of so much rhythm and rhyme. It's the story of a little girl who is helping her family prep dinner for the night. They're having Bee Bim Bop, which is a traditional Korean dish, kind of a rice bowl. And there's lots of different variations that you can do on it. And as each of the books in this series that we're doing has a recipe in the back of the book. And the first time, I think actually this was the first time that I ever made a recipe from a children's book, was Bee Bim Bop by Linda Sue Park. And it was amazing. Like, I didn't have super high expectations for recipes at the back of children's books, but this one was quite the hit. And so it's kind of been in the rotation for us for years now. And in fact, Bee Bim Bop is a picture book, but it just came out as a board book as of, I think, January 3rd, 2023. So now it is available in board book format, which I think is fantastic because it is a wonderful read for babies and toddlers. The board book version does not have the recipe included in the back though. So if you want the original recipe from the story, you have to grab the hardcover. So we are gonna get started. So basically what we're doing is rice, we're doing meat that's gonna be marinated, and then we're gonna have those kind of get combined together in a bowl, and then you can kind of do what you want. I'm gonna do some pickled carrots that I have, some cucumber that I have, and I think that will probably be it. My kids really just like the meat and the rice. So the veggies are more so for me and maybe my husband, depending on which veggies I use. Snow peas would be really good in this. And then you could also scramble an egg, like make an omelet and slice it. I don't think I'm gonna do that tonight. Just because when my youngest son got home from school today, he had a huge snack, so I know he's not gonna be super, super hungry. So we're gonna get going on the marinade, but before we do that, I'm gonna get the rice going in the Instapot, my new favorite way to cook rice. I have not been doing it that long, but it's just equal parts rice. I'm gonna use jasmine rice. I'm gonna use whatever rice you want. Jasmine rice is what I have. That's what I usually have. So we're gonna do equal parts rice and equal parts water. With jasmine rice, it's just gonna be 3 minutes in the Instapot. So let me get that going. And then I'm gonna add a pinch of salt and just a tiny little bit of oil. I need to check my lid, my Instapot, the seal on my Instapot. I think I'm about ready for a new one. It's tight. And in it goes for 3 minutes. All right, that's ready to go. Now we're ready to do our marinade. So for our marinade, we're gonna make this marinade, get the meat in it, and then we can prep our veggies for the top. So into the marinade, we're gonna do 5 tablespoons of soy sauce. I do not have soy sauce right now, so we are gonna use coconut aminos, and honestly, I substitute coconut aminos many times for soy sauce. I actually kind of prefer the flavor a little bit. It's not as salty. So 5 tablespoons of that's going to go in, and then I lost count. I think that was 4. Put 1 more. And then to that, to look over at my recipe. It's been a little while since I've made this. It calls for 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm gonna use olive oil. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of sugar. To the sugar. Then we're gonna add a couple of cloves of garlic, and we're gonna slice up some green onion. We're gonna add in a little sesame seed, and I think that'll be about it for the marinade, and a little black pepper. I think that's, yep, that's everything. So this is a fun recipe because there's so many things to prep that it's a great one to, if you have little ones in the kitchen, they could help you with that. Sesame seeds almost out. Here's my new one here. About a teaspoon of that. And is that everything? I think that's everything. All right, so we're gonna give this a stir. Oh, I know, we gotta put the garlic and the green onions in, don't we? Getting these garlic cloves out. I am so disappointed with the quality of garlic right now at the store. In fact, I see this one's sprouting too. I miss my homemade garlic. I do not have a big garden at all, but I have grown garlic the last couple of years, but it doesn't even get me through this summer because I have such a small little garden. So I did plant more for this year, but still not enough that will probably maybe take me into the fall. Okay, usually that little tool here works a little better. But I've bought from multiple different places garlic recently, and like I said, the quality is not good. Same with onions. I've been having terrible luck with onions recently. They're real mushy or have started to sprout. Just not good. Again, wish I had bigger garden space, because if I had bigger garden space, I would be growing lots more garlic and trying my hand at onions too. I've never grown onions before. All right, so in goes the garlic. And then we're gonna cut a spoonful, a couple of green onions. So after I get these green onions cut and added to the marinade, we are gonna slice up some pretty lean beef. Again, it was slim pickings at the grocery store right now for me. And I had to get some breakfast steak cut ones, which actually I think is going to work out really well because they're already thinly sliced. So I'm just gonna cut them across the grain into small pieces. And then we're gonna add them to this marinade, and we're going to give them a really good massage, like for a couple of minutes, which is key. And then we are gonna let them sit while we prep our veggies that are gonna go on the top. So I am just gonna slice this in pretty small strips. Into the bowl it will go. Working with raw meat, not one of my favorite things to do. I much prefer a red meat though versus raw chicken. Raw chicken's probably my worst thing that I hate to handle in the kitchen. Usually if my husband's home, I enlist him to do anything like pounding or dealing with it. I'll do it, it's just not my favorite thing to do. All right, in that goes, and I have 3 more to prep up. I haven't read any of Linda Sue Park's books. You're missing out. She has a handful of picture books. Bee Bim Bop is definitely my favorite one. But then she also has some amazing middle grade chapter books also. Now we're just gonna get our hand in and we are going to massage. Again, this is a key part of this. It really tenderizes the meat and gets that flavor in. So you can just kind of take out your frustrations from the day and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So when we are done squeezing this, smushing this, massaging this, so you can even work on synonyms with your kids while you're cooking in the kitchen. So many things to do in the kitchen, learning wise with kids. We're gonna let this sit when we are done, and then when we're ready to cook it, this is gonna cook really fast because it's really thin. So we're gonna get a hot pan with some sesame oil, sesame seed oil, sesame oil going. We're gonna get a hot pan, and then we're gonna dump the whole thing in, meat and marinade and all, and we are just gonna cook it for a few minutes until it is cooked through. That's the Instapot saying that it's come to temp. So the amazing thing about doing rice in the Instapot is that it will keep it warm. So you don't really have to worry about like, what time do I need to start the rice, and you know, timing it perfectly. It's like you can just set it and go and it's there for you. I think I only did 1 cup of rice. I probably should have done 2 cups. Oh well, too late now. All right, I'm gonna clean my hands and then I will be back to chop veggies with you. All right, I am going to prep our veggies that we're gonna put on here. Going to slice up some cucumber. It's one of the vegetables my husband will eat. There aren't many. Kind of just do these in, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. You can do them in any shape that you want. I think I might do them like in small chunks. I do love cucumber. This one's a little bitter though. All right, cucumber. Not a big fan of winter veggies. However, these carrots are from the summer, and I pickled them. So I'm gonna use the last of these. They're kind of like dilly carrots. Lots of dill in them that I grew in the garden. So these we'll just kind of do matchstick style. But I'd like to have something a little briny with this. If you were more adventurous and you had some, you could do kimchi, which is a very traditional Korean condiment that you could put on. So I'm not a big fan of raw carrots usually. Like I can't just pick up a carrot and eat it, but if it's sliced just right or shredded, I love carrots, and I really enjoy cooked carrots too. Just something about having a really, just biting into one, really the thickness of it. I don't know, like a kind of a texture thing, I guess. But I have learned that cutting things in different shapes and having your kids try them cut in different shapes will sometimes appeal more to them and get them to try new foods that they discover that they like. So this will be enough carrots because it will just be probably me having carrots. I don't know, maybe my husband may have a few. All right, so we've got carrots and cucumber ready to go. I could make an egg and like julienne slice that, but I don't think I'm gonna do that tonight. I have this seaweed, this Japanese multi-purpose seasoning. I think I'll use definitely as a condiment. And then I think I have a jar of pickled ginger, which would be really good. So I will get that out too. And I'll be back in a second and we will fry up that meat and make our bowls and eat our Bee Bim Bop. So we have the beef dumped into the pan with some sesame oil, and we are just going to let this cook and stir it frequently for a few minutes until it's ready to go, and then we're ready to plate up our Bee Bim Bop.